Howdy, howdy. Welcome on in to the pre-show before the free show.
Hi, everybody.
It's game
friend
day.
Greg. And my friend Ashley. Hi,
Wow.
Ashley.
Hello.
There's football tonight. Do you know that?
Yep.
Are you going to... So, Dave Campbell's Texan Live's got a bunch of games,
Mm-hmm.
right? On Dave Campbell's Texan Live. So, you should watch one of those games. Certainly watch one of those games. There's also, Pickle, National Football League action tonight.
Seems less important than whatever we have going on.
Don't we have...
on
What's
Dave
our
Campbell's
big
Texan
game
Live.
tonight?
Let me pull up the schedule.
I don't want... there's a couple games I'm really excited about, and I think at least one of them's on Texas Live, but I don't want to say it and then be like, oh, well, hey, the network that has everything doesn't have everything. The network has everything, guys. Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
Yeah, hang on.
You're listening to live coverage.
I know of one that I'm super excited that we have tonight.
What's that?
Brock and Wimberley.
That's what I was going to say.
Yep.
Yeah, Brock and Wimberley. I had an inkling that we had it on. It's at the reason it caught me off guard is like I know it's at Mare and Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
It's at Crusader Stadium.
No, we've got that, and then I guess I'll just go ahead and give it away. This is supposed to be announced, but y'all are pre-show people, so you deserve to hear the good news.
You do deserve to hear the good news.
This is that's going to be one of our Thursday night spotlight games on Dave Campbell's Texas Football tonight. So we'll go back through. If you're not able to watch it tonight, we'll go back through and have a full recap on it tomorrow.
I like that.
Super excited about that one. Just go through the list real fast.
We don't have to.
Well, we've got Marcus and Trinity tonight too.
That's
which
fun.
Is
That's
big.
interesting.
Klein Cannon, Cy Falls.
Yeah, I'm into that. U.S. Trinity desperately needs to win this game.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be there tonight, actually.
They desperately need to win this game. Both of them do. Marcus is 0-2 as well. Somebody's gonna feel real bad tomorrow, heading into district play too. It's our final non-district tune-up. Can I tell you about a new friend of yours that you've never met? But I know you like making friends.
I do.
You're especially a friend to the animals.
Oh.
Pickle. Dateline.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh. Chelsea, Michigan. Okay, it's outside Ann Arbor.
Mm-hmm.
That is the home of Marcy Parker Darwin, as well as her husband Bill.
Shut up, Bill.
But perhaps most importantly, it's home to Peanut.
No.
Peanut is a chicken.
Well, that took a turn.
And Peanut is the oldest chicken in the world.
Wow.
Peanut's 21.
Holy crap. Good God. Lord have mercy.
Peanut, headline in the Washington Post. World's oldest chicken is 21. Quote, Peanut loves to sit in my lap and watch TV.
So this is a domesticated chicken.
Peanut is a sassy little chicken, says Marcy Parker Darwin. If she doesn't get her blueberry yogurt in the morning, I definitely hear about it.
Oh my.
There's pictures of Peanut. She's like a yellow kind of chicken.
Is she's still laying eggs?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I think that time for her has passed. But she has when she was 20 years and 272 days old, back in January 20 of this year, she was officially named by the Guinness Book of World Records as the oldest living chicken.
So I guess there's the key to success: blueberry yogurt in the morning, and you'll live to forever.
Well, here's a guess. And obviously, look, we in this country use chickens for
A lot of different things.
food.
Mm-hmm.
What is the average? According to Darwin, I'm taking her advice because she's a farmer, still living on a no-kill farm and stuff like that. What is the average chicken life?
3 years.
5 to 8, apparently. Like apparently on their farm.
Yeah, on a no-kill farm.
So it's like
sense.
it's just like you lay eggs and then you just get to pass away.
Yeah.
But yeah, 5 to 8 years, and Peanut is quote healthy and spoiled.
Shout out Peanut.
She appeared on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno in 2004 when she was 14. That was another one of her chickens. She had the oldest. This is another one. The path to Peanut's world record designation started in spring 2022 when Darwin's friend Todd Gillihan, also a chicken enthusiast, urged her to submit an application to Guinness. Gillihan had read about the first Guinness World Records oldest chicken, a hen named Matilda, who had appeared on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno when she was 2004 and then died 2 years later at 16. Quote, he knew that Peanut had the record beat. And sure enough.
Well, what the hell? Why is Peanut not on a late night show? I know Jay Leno's not around. But
well, I'll tell you this. Like, I wonder if this is one of those like hidden stories that now it's getting press attention.
Yeah.
But they're on a writer's strike, so like all of the late night shows are off the air. Like I guarantee you. Like, what the hell is Corden? What's his name? James Corden. Mm-hmm. What are you just gonna do more of your carpool karaoke? Get Peanut on.
Yeah, justice for Peanut, honestly.
Justice for Peanut. And you know what? I'll say it. I'm gonna take the bull by the horn, so to speak, the chicken by the gizzards.
No.
I'm gonna name Peanut the Texas Football Today Listener of the Week. Congratulations to
Good
Peanut.
job, Peanut. Shout out, Peanut.
Shout out, Peanut. Hit the theme expo. Pickle. Hit the arrow sign. Yes, yo! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it's Texas Football Today, a program with a desk and a monitor and computer, and there's a computer over there, and it's all sorts of stuff. My name is Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or you'll listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. Sitting in this chair. Sitting over in that chair, making us sound good. She's the Duchess of the Dorks, our executive producer, Ashley Pickle.
Howdy, friends. Happy game day.
Happy game day. It is game day.
Game day.
Is there college football tonight?
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
College football game.
Yeah,
right?
There's definitely one.
We have all three levels tonight. High school on Texan Live, college on whatever the college, I don't know. And then the Chiefs and the Lions.
Yeah.
The Chefs and the Lions. It'll be fun.
But the Lions get destroyed.
Wow, what a hater.
Give me one good reason to believe in Detroit, and I'll have this conversation.
No. They're supposed to be pretty good.
Better than they were last year.
They're supposed to be a threat to win the NFC North.
The bar was at a low last year, so it can really only go up.
I don't remember what they did last year.
They were pretty garbage last year.
Were they?
Yeah.
Were they?
Yeah, the best thing that happened to Detroit was they put up a billboard about Matthew Stafford when he won the Super Bowl at the Rams because they had nothing else to celebrate.
To finish second in the NFC North. I don't know. Seemed like they did okay. What was their record? Their record last year. Oh, that's not what I need. When you're looking at the live coverage of us looking up what the Lions did last year. They're 9-8.
Nah, okay. They finished stronger than I thought they did. They were really bad at the beginning of the year.
Playoffs.
I can't remember. That seems like eons ago.
Today is Thursday, September 7th, 2023. 77 days till Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to, Eazy-E. Happy heavenly birthday to Eazy-E.
Nice.
Birthday to Kevin Love.
Okay.
Kevin Love's 35.
He plays basketball.
And speaking of basketball players, happy birthday to Donovan Mitchell.
Nice.
All their birthdays today. Hope they have a wonderful day.
Big basketball birthday.
Day too, valued listener. On today's, it's episode 1645. On today's show, folks, we have got, is it 45 or 44?
45.
Nailed it. 1645. On today's show, folks, big show. We got my top 10 Texas high school football games this week. Then we'll be joined by the head coach of the state-ranked Tolar Rattlers, Snake Farm.
Let's go.
Coach Jeremy Mullins will join us here on the show to talk a little Tolar football. Then, back half the show, my predictions for week 3 of the Texas high school football season. So stick around for that, or don't. But please do. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Ed McElroy, Nick Morton, Tony Blaylock, and Daniel Agnew. Welcome in, fellas.
Howdy. Thanks for spending a little bit of your Thursday with us as we gear up for a big football weekend, and that big football weekend pickle is going to include a bunch of Texas high school football games in week 3 of the Texas high school football season.
A bunch.
A boatload.
A bunch.
I mean, what would you call it?
A bunch.
A bucket.
It was just the way you said it.
A bucket full. Tons of them.
Football games.
There's more than 700 across the state. I went through it. I went through every one, and I gave each one of them a particular score.
No, you did not.
And then I want to present to you my results of the top 10 Texas high school football games this week in week numero tres, starting tonight, 7 o'clock at Crusader Stadium in Belton.
Live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
It is the number 4 ranked Wimberley Texans taking on the number 2 ranked Brock Eagles in a 4A Division II versus 3A Division I clash. There's a real argument to be made that is the game of the week across the state of Texas. There's others that are on this list that I think have a claim to it, but I think certainly this is on that very, very short list. I am fascinated by this game. So Brock is a team that is once again going through that absolutely brutal schedule. And they got a win last week over Wichita Falls Hershey. And their defense has been excellent. Cooper Massey, their linebacker, has been a menace, and their defense has been really, really good. Their offense has been slow out of the gate.
Yeah, which is not typical for Brock.
Brett Tudor, their running back, is kind of the star of the show. They're working a new quarterback, but they are grinding it out. Okay, they're playing real rock fight football right now. They are going to be faced with a big challenge tonight in Wimberley, a team that has soared to a 2-0 record. Quarterback Cody Stover, who you may remember from the state championship game last year, has been spectacular. 11 touchdowns in his first 2 games. They got a great running back in Chase Carson, and their defense has been pretty good as well, allowing just 13 points per game. The question for me is going to be, can Brock's offense get anything going? Because there's a chance that Wimberley scores 24 points and the game's over. Brock has got to get something going offensively. Huge game tonight on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. Let's go 7 o'clock Friday night in Spring.
Live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
It is a top 25 matchup in 6A as the number 2 Galena Park North Shore Mustangs visit the number 23 Spring Westfield Mustangs in a game that I think that it's fair to say has lost a little bit of its luster. Spring Westfield looked fantastic in week 1, soared past Cy Park, and then
did not soar.
They were
in week 2.
Bad offensively last week.
Yeah, they
Fort
did not
Bend
look
Tower.
good.
So they rang up 228 yards total offense. If you take away a 60-yard touchdown run by Tajee Atkins, they had just 168 yards total offense.
Yeah.
And averaged just 4 yards a carry. They've got to find something going up against Caleb Bailey and this North Shore attack that is starting to really round and form. They look the part. Caleb Bailey's back, and he's going to be a problem. Of course, one of the things I've got my eye on here is the trench play. North Shore's that's always where this game is fun because both these teams really value themselves on being the most physical team. It's going to be a great matchup there. I like North Shore, not to spoil my picks video, but this should be a really intriguing matchup there in spring. So keep an eye on that one. Let's go small school now. 3A versus 2A matchup, top 3 matchup as the number 3 team in 3A Division 1. I think it's 3A Division 1, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
The Edna Cowboys take on the number 2 team in 2A Division 1, the Refugio Bobcats. Let's go to Ashley Pickle for some thoughts on Edna.
Yep.
She's a little
I'm
sore.
still salty.
She's a little sore because Edna was the team.
Mainly because the entire Edna football team was in my DMs after the Lano game.
Well, don't talk mess.
That's fair.
This is a really intriguing matchup as Edna travels to Refugio to take on the Bobcats. Edna has been very workmanlike through their first 2 weeks. Good wins over East Bernard and Bay City. Mm-hmm. And what I really appreciate about them is that their offense has found a way to get it done in a variety of different ways. Mm-hmm. Their quarterback, they don't ask Jaden Clay to do a ton, but they've got a junior running back in Cade Rodas who has been really strong to start the year, and another running back in Carmine Williams who can kind of spread it around. Going up against a Refugio team that is going to be the faster team here, and that's just because they're one of the fastest teams in the state. Ernest Campbell, etc. They got back on the good foot after a week 1 loss last week, or they got back on the good foot in week 2 after a week 1 loss. Remember when they lost to Hitchcock. The offense has no notes, been very, very good. Mm-hmm. The defense looked a lot better last week against Corpus Christi London. That's also a not as good as Hitchcock Corpus Christi London team. Edna will challenge them, and that is going to be a really interesting thing because Edna will physically challenge them up front.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is going to be very telling to see, one, how the Edna defensive backs are going to par out this year against speed, and then for Refugio, seeing how well they are able to punch up against a line, because Refugio is small up front. They're very small, and Edna is like a group of gargantuan men.
So this is a really interesting test for Refugio taking on Edna. And this is one of those things where I think the margins matter. And if Refugio could be like the world's best 1-2 team after this week, really and truly, because they'd have losses to Hitchcock and Edna, both 3A teams, both like top 5 3A teams.
Yeah, 3A Division 1.
Yeah.
Exactly. So 2 full classifications ahead, or 2 full divisions ahead.
Yeah, so keep an eye on that one. Let's now go.
This is tasty.
7 o'clock, I think? Yeah, 7 o'clock Friday night at Eakin Stadium in Timpson as the number 8 ranked Dangerfield Tigers visit the number 1 in 2A Division 1 Timpson Bears. If you want offense and you want big plays, this is the game for you. Dangerfield is going to hit a bunch of home runs in this game. Chase Johnson, their quarterback. They've got Bubba Hampton, Aaron Hampton back. He is a dynamo. Going up against Timpson, who's looked really good despite not having the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year in Terry Bussey. They moved J.J. Garner, their running back, over to quarterback. Vosky Howard ran for like 180 yards in the second half last week in their win. Their offense has been off the charts. This is going to be a home run derby here in there. So which defense can come up with a couple of stops? Fascinating game in Timpson tomorrow night, Dangerfield and Timpson. This one's a little bit off the board, and I'm excited to talk to one of the participants coming up here in just a moment. Going down Friday night in Tolar as the Dallas Christian Chargers take on the Tolar Rattlers in a private school versus public school clash. Tolar is kind of the like at this point we know about Tolar, we know what they're about, and they're about running the stinking ball. They are really good at doing that. They got a couple of guys in Peyton Brown and in Isaac Blessing who have been very good, but they have been able to throw the ball a little bit as well because Isaac Blessing has thrown the ball a little bit as well. This team is 2-0, looking very good. Got two wins over Early and Peaster. I think they're better than Early and Peaster. What is interesting about this game is that Dallas Christian's coming off. Dallas Christian's hard to read right now. They have a resounding win over Bishop Dunn. They were our number 1 team in the private school ranks last week. Before they go over to Louisiana and lose to Ouachita Christian, and they lose 17-14. I just have no idea what to do with that.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't have any sort of, I don't know.
The measuring stick does not exist.
I don't know what Ouachita Christian is. They might be like
really
IMG
good.
Academy. They might be like the greatest team of all time, or they might be like, worse than Tolar. Do you know what I mean? So I just don't know what this team is. I do know what they're about. They have a couple of big time playmakers. Speedy Nettles, their wide receiver, is a certified blue chipper. They've got a quarterback, a dual threat quarterback in Luke Carney that you need to know about. I've had some people ask me like what the comparison is for Dallas Christian. I think what they are is they're a really good 4A team.
Yeah, that feels right. That feels right.
I think they're a really good 4A team, or like a decent 5A Division 2 team. So this is a huge test for Tolar punching up in that regard. Huge game there. Saturday, I think, right?
Yes.
That's right. South Oak Cliff, this game Saturday? Let's find out. That feels noble. Anyway, let's talk about the game first. South Oak Cliff welcomes in the DeSoto Eagles. This game is on Saturday. Saturday at 6 o'clock right now. As the DeSoto Eagles visit the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears in a matchup of defending state champs, number 3 in 6A taking on number 2 in 5A Division 2. DeSoto is an understandable favorite in this game because they are the bigger team, the 6A team. They should have the advantage there. They've also been very good. One of the questions I have is who's going to step up in the stead of Tiger Ryden. Mm-hmm. He did go down in this game, or in their first game. Should be out for a couple of weeks. They've got a kind of a bevy of running backs back there. I would look for guys like Chad Williams or Jakiri Washington to carry the load. But make no mistake, this team is about DJ Bailey, their quarterback, who is such a phenom for them, and I think their defense, which has been very good. South Oak Cliff is coming off of, and I said this on Tep and Step, South Oak Cliff might be coming off their most complete game in more than a year.
Yeah, honestly.
Like, when you talk about all three phases, what they were able to do last week against Lancaster was a complete performance. Because last year, at least against a contender, like, they played teams from Dallas ISD that they just kind of they put in the dumpster. But this is last week against Lancaster. Offense was cruising, defense was cruising, special teams was sound. Everything they did was great. William Little stepped up at the quarterback spot. Their running back, Green, what's his first name?
You always do this.
I always do this.
Isn't it Terrence?
No, it's not. Their running back it's because it's William Little's their quarterback, and then it's Danny Green. Danny Green, their running back.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
I should know that as a Spurs fan.
You should. Can they do it again? This would be more impressive than that because they're playing a top 5 6A team. This could be another opportunity for South Cliff to put another a real feather in the cap. I think they got a shot. DeSoto's your favorite, but I think they got a shot in this game. Should be fun. Massive 6-man matchup. It's a huge week in 6-man football, by the way.
It has been the past 3 weeks.
I'm telling you, what I love about 6-man football coaches is they ain't afraid. They're just like, no, we're going to schedule it. I think it's because you have so many, a lot of it are 14 districts.
Yep.
And so you need 7 non-district games. And so you can't hide. And I think all these coaches have just embraced it, be like, no. And they all understand you just got to take your lumps. Going down Friday night in Rankin, as the Westbrook Wildcats take on the Rankin Red Devils. Westbrook is coming off of a really nice bounce-back win. Remember, they lost week 1 in Knox City, and we were kind of like, they dropped out of the number 1 spot. We're like, oh, what's wrong with them? Well, last week against Jonesboro, they put it all together, and it was very impressive to watch. This team, I'm about ready to chalk up it's just a week 1 weirdness because we know what they're going to be about. Keegan Gilbreth, their quarterback, has been very strong. They've got Parker Matlock back there as well. Grayson Jeffrey. They're loaded. They've got plenty of playmakers. But this is another huge test on the road against Rankin, who has been very strong to start the year. 2-0 to start the year with resounding wins over state-ranked Buena Vista, as well as who they beat in week 1. They beat Balmaray. Remember, they beat Balmaray. Balmaray's in a weird spot right now. I don't know how to feel about them. I think they're dealing with some injury issues. But a win's a win, plain and simple. And they have done it in they've done it in a variety of different ways. I think that this Rankin team is right on the cusp of potentially something really big. And I think they've got a number of playmakers to make Westbrook really sweat. Blake Wise, their quarterback, David Berger up front is a mismatch. Barrett Jackson. I'm into Garrett Avalos' squad. Keep an eye on this one. Westbrook and Rankin, I think, has major implications across the 6-man world. A top 5 matchup in 1A Division 1. Let's go out west to Shotwell Stadium.
This one's fun.
7 o'clock Friday night at Shotwell Stadium in Abilene as the number 25 ranked 6A squad, the Midland Legacy Rebels, visit the number 9 Abilene Eagles. The Eagles have been really good to start the year. Really, really good. They bodied Odessa Permian in the opener, and then they won the Crosstown Showdown last week against Abilene Cooper. Their quarterback, Dylan Slack's been good. They've got Bam Rayshaw, their running back, Antoine Rayshaw. He's been very good, and their defense looked very stout. They are punching up significantly here to take on Midland Legacy. And what I find interesting about Legacy is that we talk a lot about their quarterback, Marcos Davila, but it's been the running game with guys like Madden Milroy and Tommy Johnson III, who've stepped up in a big way. Abilene's got to find a way to slow down that rushing attack. I think Abilene's got a great shot in this game. I think this game's really fascinating. I think it's going to be rocking out there at Shotwell Stadium. A lot of fun there. Keep an eye on that. Midland Legacy and Abilene. Let's stay out west. Stay kind of big country? Yeah, big country.
Yeah, definitely big country.
A big game in 3A as the number 4 Wall Hawks take on the number 9 Jim Ned Indians in a top 10 matchup. This game is really intriguing. Wall out of Division 2 taking on Jim Ned in Division 1. Wall looked really good last week in Cisco. I'm telling you, that flexbone offense, they are cruising. Humming. They ran for 327 yards last week, 9 different ball carriers.
Insane.
They're just going to hand it all over. Nathan Pepper is kind of the guy to know. Hagen Barbie is another guy to keep an eye on as well. Jim Ned's been really impressive to start the year. Last week they drummed Holiday impressively, and the QB running back combo of Gary Beasley and Braden Shipman is really hard to stop. This game's going to be fun, and I want to see how Jim Ned defends the option here from Wall. This is a fascinating game here, a top 10 matchup in 3A. Keep an eye on that one. And finally, Pickle, Let's go to DeWitt County.
Fantastic logo matchup here.
And one of the great rivalries in Texas high school football. As the number 4 in 4A Division II, Cuero Gobblers visit the newly ranked number 10 3A Division I Yoakum Bulldogs in a series that will play for the 115th time, Pickle. These two teams, this is the third most played rivalry in Texas high school football, only behind El Campo Bay City and Denison Sherman. This game is really interesting, not obviously the rivalry part of it, but these are two really good teams. Yoakum, their coach Bo Robinson just got his 200th career win. Congratulations to him. And last week, they looked really good against Cameron Yoe. Zachary Taylor, who's an Army commit, transfer in from Del Rio, he was terrific, threw 3 touchdowns and ran for another as they really dominated Cameron Yoe. Cuero has looked really good as well through their first two weeks. They were really good against Geronimo Navarro in their opener, and we kind of know what to talk about, what they're all going to be all about. Mason Notaro, their quarterback, has stepped up in a big way as they're finding the running game, what they're going to look like running the ball. And then Brant Patak, their linebacker, has been very good as well. It's interesting because I think Yoakum from a skill position spot can match up with Cuero, but this is going to be about the fronts, and can Yoakum match up front with Cuero? And, of course, a great rivalry game. I think this is going to be a fascinating game, and I don't need to talk anybody in DeWitt County going to this game. Those are my top 10 games of the week, but remember, you can get whip-around coverage of the biggest games across the state of Texas on Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight, Friday night, live on YouTube and TexanLive.com. Whip around coverage, free, live, everywhere. Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Coming up here in just a moment, we are going to talk with Tolar head coach Jeremy Mullins ahead of their big game with Dallas Christian. But first, let's hear from our friends at the Earl Campbell Award. Dave Campbell's Texas Football is proud to partner with Sport Tyler to award the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose National Player of the Week, which recognizes the top offensive player in Division I college football, who also exhibits the enduring characteristics that define Earl Campbell: integrity, performance, teamwork, sportsmanship, drive, community, and tenacity. In addition, each honoree must be born in Texas, graduate from a Texas high school, or play at a Texas-based junior college or Division I Texas college. It all leads up to the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award, announced in January. Congratulations to this week's winner of the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose National Player of the Week. For more information, visit earlcampbellaward.com.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
I feel like bustin' loose, bustin' loose, come on. Get on up. Oh yeah, get on up. Bustin' loose when you wanna sing. Bustin' loose, baby, do your thing. Talking about bustin' loose, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Pickle, week 3 of the Texas high school football season is upon us with huge games all across the state. One of them is a state-ranked matchup, public school versus private school, as Dallas Christian visits the Tolar Rattlers, 2-0 at state-ranked. And here to talk about it is the head coach of those Tolar Rattlers. We're joined by Coach Jeremy Mullins. Coach, how are you?
I'm good. Tepper, how are you?
I'm great. How are things in beautiful Tolar, Texas?
They're awesome. You know, it's 105, so it feels real nice outside right now.
I read something the other day. Somebody said that the difference between 105 and 95 is 400 degrees, and I've never related more to something.
I think that's fact, no doubt.
Let's talk a little bit about your Rattlers. This is a program that has certainly been on the rise the past couple of years. Last year, obviously, a terrific run in the playoffs. You guys are off to this 2-0 start. How has the expectation and maybe just the conversation within the locker room changed over the past couple of years?
I don't think there's any question. If there's, every day there's an expectation to show up and win. And I think it starts at, in the off season, in the summer, anything we do. I think those guys have certainly bought into just showing up and understanding what it takes to win. And the expectation, no doubtly, in the last couple of years has been that.
You guys have now won 25 games in the last 2 years. Plus, I go back to when you took over back in 2017, and it does feel like it's been this slow build to get to this point where you guys are true statewide contenders. Whenever I know it's to look back on when you started, but was this the kind of process that you anticipated undertaking whenever you got there to Tolar?
Tepper, I'll be honest. I don't know that I was anticipating it happening, in year 1 or 2, not 6 or 7. I think in all actuality, you hope that you build something that gets a little better every year. You don't ever want to peak out or head in the opposite direction. And so I think that's always been our coaching staff's mindset is, how can we be a little bit better than we were the past year?
Talking with Jeremy Mullins, head coach of the Tolar Rattlers here on Texas Football Today. You can involve the conversation at #TF Today. But coach, with that success also comes expectations and from within the program and from without the program. For example, you guys are state ranked number 3 in the state according to those dum-dums at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. How do you handle and approach expectations as they continue to rise within your program?
Yeah, we appreciate y'all giving our kids and parents something to talk about. I think in any coach, you want to be at a place that has expectation. I know that's us and our staff right now is, man, we enjoy being in that arena. Talk to our kids the last couple of years. There was a point we were chasing everybody, and now there's a point where some people are chasing you, and you've got the target on your back, and what are you going to do to keep yourself in that position? And so. With those expectations, you better put in the work to make sure you uphold the standard that's been set by those that have come before you. And man, we've had such a good group of kids right now. They show up and they work hard, and they're doing a tremendous job in doing that.
You guys are 2-0, and one of the real shining stars of this team so far has been the defense. You guys have really held down 2 pretty decent offenses there in Peaster and early in the start of the season. What is it about this defense that has them off to this hot start that has you most excited?
Yeah, our defensive staff does a great job. Weston Bond coordinates that, and Brandon Higgins does our D-line. Those guys do a great job of preparing those guys each week. And I think the biggest thing is we put 11 guys on the field to play hard. Man, with those 11 guys know that there's a daggum standard when you're playing Rattler defense, and it's A to B, 4 to 6 every snap, and they do a great job of it. We're not big up front. We're going to be a lot smaller than the group we're going against this Friday, and that's kind of the way it is most weeks for us. But those dudes get off the ball and they just play hard for 4 quarters, and I think that's something that certainly has elevated in the last couple of years.
Offensively, I know. You guys have been a little nicked up, but I know one of the guys that has really stepped up has been Isaac Blessing, a guy who was your quarterback last year. Started a couple of games at quarterback, but was really taking over at the offensive side this year. And has really flourished and really blossomed here in these first couple of games. The numbers are impressive. We watched a little bit of tape on Isaac Blessing. He's fun to watch. As the guy who gets to talk with him in the locker room and is with him in the quiet moments, what can you tell us about Isaac Blessing that makes him so special?
It will be hard to find a better leader than Isaac Blessing. Since I've known Isaac in sixth grade, he's been amped up about football and Tolar Rattler football. And if you were to come in our field house today, he'd have a huge smile on his face, excited about going to practice, whatever day of the week it is. And so I think it starts right there. Kids rally around him. He's the kind of guy that kids listen to. That's certainly the kind of guy you want taking snaps for you on Friday night. And then on top of that, he's a daggum good athlete. He's a 6'3", 200-pound quarterback that was an all-state linebacker last year, and so he's got that mindset going for him as well. But overall, just a tremendous kid.
It's going down in Tolar this weekend as you guys welcome in another state-ranked foe. This in the private school ranks as Dallas Christian comes to town. And I know you guys have been in the lab trying to figure out how to attack the Chargers. They got themselves a legendary coach on the other side as well. And I'm not going to ask you to give away all your secrets here, but when you take a look at what you're up against in the Chargers this week, tomorrow night, what do you see?
You see a lot of athletes across the field and big up front. They, you said it. Coach Wheeler, I believe that the field's named after him there. So, you're always you feel good about going into that week when the team's coaches and field's named after him. But those guys, man, they've done a good job. They've won their division the last couple of years, state title. And I would be willing to bet he'd say they're more athletic this year than they've been just from watching them on film. And so quarterback's a stud. The Carney kid can throw it. He can run it. And then they've got an athlete at running back and a couple on the outside that, any second they might go 60 with it. So defensively, we've got to be, we got to be sound. We got to be in the right place at the right time. And then offensively, we've hung our hat on establishing the run. And so it's a challenge for us, I believe, up front this week. They're good defensively. They run to the football well, big up front. And so can we get some movement against those guys down there in the trenches?
I don't want to get too far ahead of this because I know you guys got work to do tonight or tomorrow night, and then next week another big game against Comanche before you guys hit your open date. But then district play starts, 5-2A Division II, and it's that UIL didn't do you any favors. I'll say that much. When you take a look at what you guys are going to be up against whenever 5A District 5 play rolls around, what's your scope on what you see?
That our district returns a lot of kids. I think everybody in our district, we probably lost by far the most amount of seniors last year. And so those guys, I think everybody's got a chance to be a little better than they were last year. And we start with Hamilton. I think they're a team that's potentially overlooked by some people right now. They've got a good group of kids. They're going to be tough, play hard. That coaching staff does a good job. And then you look up and you got Coleman coming there right after it. So it certainly doesn't get any easier. Those guys have established a pretty big tradition there, and was a battle last year, and I don't expect it to be any different this year.
It's going down on the Snake Farm, Tolar Rattler Stadium, Friday night, 7:30, as the Tolar Rattlers welcome in the Dallas Christian Chargers, and head coach Jeremy Mullins will be on the sideline. Coach, we sure appreciate your time. Congratulations again.
Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. There he goes, Jeremy Mullins, head coach, Tolar Rattlers. Join us here. Interesting game, hard to get a read on. And I know that they've been a little bit nicked up at the running back spot. Not sure of what that's going to look like for them, but I do know that Dallas Christian is going to pose a real interesting challenge to them. And again, it's just hard to get a gauge on Dallas Christian because they've got a big win over a team that they're better than in Bishop Dunn.
Right. And
then they went out of state and played like a mystery box team,
right,
and came back with a narrow loss. So we just don't know. We know they're athletic. We know they got playmakers. But we also know that Tolar's the next time they back down from a fight is going to be the first. So excited to see that. We were excited to get Jeremy Mullins on to talk a little Tolar Rattlers football. Appreciate his time. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Coming up here in just a moment, the picks, my high school football predictions for Week 3 of the Texas high school football season. But first, let's hear from our partners. Takis is the presenting sponsor of the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Sustainability Champions Award, spotlighting influential kids looking to pursue a career focused on the social, environmental, and economic well-being of our future. Be sure to check out this week's Spotlight Game of the Week, where we'll be spotlighting 2 Sustainability Champions Award winners. Thank you to Takis for your support of the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Sustainability Champions Award. For more information, visit TexasFootball.com. Dave Campbell's Texas Football has partnered with the North Texas Honda dealers to honor community helpers from across North Texas. Texas is fortunate to have so many great individuals that give back to their community in so many different ways. Thanks to the support of the helpful North Texas Honda dealers, we have an opportunity to shine a light on a few very deserving individuals. Congratulations to this week's recipients of the Helpful Honda Community Helper Award, and thank you for being helpful in your community. For more information, visit TexasFootball.com. It's that time, Pickle.
Is it? Oh, no.
Yeah, it is.
It's Week 3.
It's Week 3 of the Texas high school football season.
It's Week 2 of college. It's Week whatever of... It's Week 1 of the NFL.
Accurately depicts. It's Week 3 of the Texas high school football season. Giant games everywhere you look, but there is only one person who subjects Mallory Hartley to editing this piece. It's the picks, my high school predictions for Week 3 of the Texas high school football season here on Texas Football Today.
We're loaded up for another huge week of Texas high school football in Week 3. These are the picks. Welcome into the picks, your guide to the Texas high school football weekend. My name is Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're now into the 3rd week of the Texas high school football season, and one thing I want to stress is that it's okay to say, I don't know. It really is. We're only 2 weeks in. We only have 2 weeks of data for these teams, and sometimes they kind of run counter to one another, right? Maybe a team looks great in week 1 and then lays an egg in week 2, or it looks really good in both weeks, but you don't know about their opponents. It's okay to wait for more data, but the good thing is this week we will get some major information on some contenders statewide. It's going to be a fun week of games. We start in Houston. 7 o'clock Friday night at Planet Ford Stadium in Spring. It is a Class 6A state rank clash as the Spring Westfield Mustangs welcome in the Galena Park North Shore Mustangs. What are the keys to this matchup? Key number 1, Westfield's hot and cold offense. So let's go back to week 1 for Westfield. Better times because the offense was cruising. 444 yards of total offense against Cy Park. Looked every bit the part of a state championship contender. Running back Tajee Atkins was fantastic. Quarterback Miles Dent looked like in complete command of the offense. Nothing but good things. They ran for almost 15 yards a carry. Good times. Then last week happened against Fort Bend Hightower in a 14-9 loss to the Hurricanes, and the offense just couldn't get going. They had under 250 yards of total offense. If you take out a 60-yard run for Tajee Atkins, they only averaged like 4 yards a carry. Suddenly, the offense had trouble moving the ball. So we have these 2 disparate data points, right, for Westfield. One time, they looked fantastic. Everything was working. They threw the ball effectively. The offensive line was pushing. Everything worked great. The other time, Hightower really bottled them up. So this offense is run hot and cold. What happens when a state-ranked team comes to town? Key number 2, Bailey's back. Let's talk about Caleb Bailey, the North Shore quarterback, because he is a real storyline for these Mustangs. You may remember him from setting the world on fire in Texas high school football last year up until he got injured. And his knee injury cost him the end of the regular season and the entire playoff run, which ended in a state championship loss to Duncanville. But he's back, and the first 2 weeks looks pretty darn good. Looks like he's really 100% and improved in many respects, especially as far as his accuracy is concerned. Now, make no mistake, this will be the biggest test he has had since he's returned from injury, because this Westfield defense is something serious. So, how does the superstar quarterback for North Shore look in his biggest test yet? And key number 3, the big fellas. Yeah, okay, the receivers and the quarterbacks, they're fun, right? But let's talk about the trenches, because when you talk about Westfield and North Shore, you should be talking about what happens up front, because that is part of their culture. They are determined to be the most physical team in the ballgame. What happens when they clash? And usually that is what determines who wins between Westfield and North Shore. Big time matchups in this one. You got defensive end for Westfield, Bryson Balka, going up against Jacoby Isom and that offensive line for North Shore. On the other side, you've got this really physical front that's starting to come along for North Shore, taking on Raekwon Bell and this really strong Westfield offensive line. This looks like a real heavyweight matchup, to borrow a phrase, between two big fronts. What happens in the trenches with these two titans? Who am I picking? I'm going with North Shore. I think I just trust the Mustangs, the North Shore Mustangs that is, their offense to be more consistent in this game, because over the past couple of weeks, what we've seen is this North Shore offense go out there and take care of business. Caleb Bailey's been great. They've run the ball well. Their offensive line's got to push. Their receiver core has started to grow. Willie Gaston, in his time as offensive coordinator, now as head coach, has built this into a machine, and the machine looks like it's rolling at peak capacity right now. Westfield is going to be the best defense that North Shore has faced this year by a pretty considerable margin in this game. But I'm just a little bit spooked about what happened last week against Hightower offensively. I just wonder if something was figured out about how you can slow down this rushing attack for Westfield, because that's where it all starts. They need to run the ball with Tajee Atkins and take a little bit of pressure off this junior quarterback Dent in order to give them an opportunity. The balance has got to be there for Westfield, and I think that North Shore is going to be able to make them a little bit more one-dimensional. This game is going to be a street fight. These are two big physical teams, but I think North Shore gets the win. Give me the Mustangs. How about some Thursday night action? 7 o'clock Thursday night at Crusader Stadium on the campus of Mary Hardin Baylor in Belton. It is a 4A versus 3A state-ranked clash as the Wimberley Texans take on the Brock Eagles. And two teams that played for a state championship last year came up a little bit short, hoping to get back to AT&T Stadium. And Brock's brutal non-district schedule continues with Wimberley. Cody Stover, their quarterback, has been on fire to start the season. 11 touchdowns in their first two games. They have been rolling, have the Texans. Now they take on a Brock team that is 1-1. They lost a heartbreaker to Pleasant Grove in the opener, got some revenge on Wichita Falls Hershey last week. The defense has been fantastic. Linebacker Cooper Massey has been great. But what happens when the offense gets pushed? Because the offense fits and starts so far with running back Brett Tudor. They need to have that balance offensively and especially be able to run the ball to get past this Wimberley team. I think there's going to be a low-scoring slugfest with both defenses taking center stage, but I think Wimberley comes up with a couple extra plays. Give me the Texans. Let's go to the big country. 7 o'clock Friday night at Shotwell Stadium in Abilene. It is a state-ranked clash between the Abilene Eagles and the Midland Legacy Rebels. Abilene's looked fantastic through their first 2 weeks. Remember, they knocked off Odessa Permian in week 1 and then won the Crosstown Showdown last week against Abilene Cooper. Quarterback Dylan Slack has been great. I'm a big fan of this running back Antoine Rayshaw. I think they have a great balanced attack, and their defense has come to play as well. What happens when they punch up against Midland Legacy? Because this team is serious business. You know, for all we talk about quarterback Marcos Davila, and he's a star, make no mistake, I think the real star of the show so far for Legacy has been the running game. Tommy Johnson III is the tip of the spear for what is a balanced and multi-headed running attack for the Rebels, and that is going to be really difficult for Abilene to slow down. The real matchup in this one is, can the front seven for Abilene find a way to match up and slow down the running game for Midland Legacy? I think this game is close, but I think home field advantage matters here, and I think I'm believing in the Eagles. Give me Abilene. And let's go out east. 7 o'clock Friday night at Eakin Stadium in Timpson. It is a state-ranked matchup of 3A versus 2A as the Dangerfield Tigers visit the Timpson Bears. And we are getting to the fireworks factory here because these two teams can hit some home runs. You want to talk about explosive offenses. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Quarterback Chase Johnson leads the way for this Dangerfield attack, which has looked fantastic. Of course, they've got a big-time playmaker in Aaron Bubba Hampton, who is going to be one of the most dynamic players on the field. Timpson, 2-0, rolling offensively, which is amazing considering they've been without Mr. Texas football, Terry Bussey. Instead, it's been J.J. Garner, the running back turned quarterback, who's been leading the way. Make no mistake, they lean on Bosky Howard as well. They are much more than just Terry Bussey, and they have been proving it through their first 2 weeks. I think this is going to be a firefight. Two teams going back and forth, hitting home runs. It's going to come down to 1 or 2 stops. And in the end, I think Timpson gets it done at home. Give me the Bears. But those are far from the only big games in week 3 of the Texas high school football season. Let's get to the lightning round. I think Hooks keeps it rolling with a win over Winsboro. Really interesting private school versus public school matchup here. I like Dallas Christian in a close one over Tolar. And give me North Crowley over Lovejoy. I like Sonora over El Dorado. DeKalb gets by Jefferson, and a slugfest on the Coastal Bend. I like Edna over Refugio. Bridgeland stays hot with a win over Alvin Shadow Creek. Canyon West Plains beats rival Canyon, and Denton Geyer bounces back with a win over Lancaster. Give me Bushland over Childress. Holland in a close one over Granger, and Jim Ned takes down Wall. I'm going with Graham over Glen Rose. Give me Harmony to take down Beckville, and Cuero sneaks by Yoakum. Critical district matchup in Houston. I like Katy to get by Katy Tompkins. Give me Stephenville to beat Decatur. And how about a matchup of state champions? I like DeSoto over South Oak Cliff. I like Columbus over Rice Consolidated. Liberty Hill and Hutto played an 162-point game last week. I don't think it's that crazy, but I do think Georgetown gets by Liberty Hill. And give me Albany over Seymour. Centerville stays hot with a win over Teague. Give me Corpus Christi Cal Allen over Corpus Christi Flower Bluff. And staying on the coast, I like Port Lavaca Calhoun over Sinton. I like Mason over Ozona. Prosper stays hot with a win over Rockwall, and a huge game in Frisco ISD. I like Frisco Lone Star over Frisco Reedy. I'm going with El Paso Pebble Hills over El Paso Eastwood, and now 4 teams with hyphens in their names. I like Port Neches Groves to beat West Orange Stark, and I like Hampshire Finette to beat Cold Spring Oakhurst. Got it? Humble Summer Creek beats Klein Collins. Stratford stays hot with a win over Groover, and I like Jourdanton over Pleasanton. I like Amarillo Tascosa over Odessa. Permian Franklin gets a win over Diboll, and a really interesting matchup of 2-0 teams. I think A&M Consolidated wins a close one over Lufkin. I'm going with San Benito over McAllen Memorial. San Antonio Brennan beats San Antonio Harlan, and a real underrated matchup. I like Wallace Brazos over Louise. I'm going with Farwell over Sundown. Give me College Station over Temple. And it's the worst bowl. I like New Braunfels over New Braunfels Canyon. Pottsboro takes down Whitesboro. And in our 6-man game of the week, I like Spring Lake Earth over Happy. And those are the picks. What am I wrong about? Which games did I leave out? Leave comments down below. Don't forget that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbells. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbells. And of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks for watching. Enjoy week 3 of the Texas high school football season. We'll see ya.
There it is, the picks, my high school football predictions for week trace of the Texas high school football season. And as always, guarantee I got at least one of those right. You can view that on YouTube if you missed any of that. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
Coming up at 2 o'clock today, wherever you're watching this, Women Talking Football. Mallory Hartley and I will be walking through the spotlight games for Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight, our program that happens tomorrow.
It's tough.
And then we are talking El Paso and Permian Basin.
Nice.
Yeah, excited. Rachel Phillips from out there in El Paso is going to join us again. She's a fantastic interview. If you missed her last year, you definitely want to catch her. So 2 o'clock coming up soon.
So do that. Set your watch. You have an alarm on your watch, then set your watch.
Set your watch.
Set my watch right now.
Women Talking at 2.
Women Talking. This is just a watch. It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbells. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbells. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thank you very much to Jeremy Mullins, head coach of the Tolar Rattlers, for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please meet your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow for Helpful Honda Mailback Friday on Texas Football Today.